everyone. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. I'm Jennifer Lee, aka GenXJen, and I am ready to start the next chapter of Andor Season 2. As I'm recording this, I'm almost finished editing my reaction to the first 3 episodes. As I said in my previous reaction, which I'm sure by the time I post this, of course, the other one will be posted. So if you haven't watched that, go and watch that and then come back and watch this. But anyway, I mentioned in that reaction that this format they have of releasing 3 episodes at once is going to be very difficult to keep up with, and I'm already falling behind. I really should be sleeping right now, but I want to get an earlier start on these next 3 episodes than I did last week. But because it's so late tonight, I can only do 1 episode. The other 2 are gonna have to wait until later in the week. But I absolutely loved the first chapter. It showed how messy. I mean, even I'm surprised that at this point in the timeline that the rebellion is still so messy. Or maybe it was just that one rebel cell, which was revealed. The planet. It was revealed that the planet they were on was Yavin 4. Couldn't mistake that Masasi temple, and of course there's a reason why they showed that, and the reason why they didn't name the planet in those episodes. But and you know, I'm a bit confused because I know that there's some Star Wars material that established that at this point in the timeline, General Dodonna and his rebels had already established a rebel base on Yavin 4. But maybe that's been scrapped, or maybe they are there and this other rebel cell has no idea. I mean, they've only been there for they were only there for a couple of days. I would say the survivors that Cassian left behind, I don't think they lasted much longer. But if there already is, if Dodonna and his rebels are already there, or if not, then they will be there soon. I'm curious to know. I mean, did they know about the beast there? How did they deal with those beasts? And if they are, if any of Maya Pei's rebels managed to survive somehow, do they end up with Dodonna and his rebels? Does General Dodonna or somebody find them? I don't know. Probably not. But, they were just so hopeless. Wow. And this whole series, and I expect season 2 of Andor to. I mean, I should have known that a major character was going to die in the first chapter. R.I.P. Brasso. You know, I was shocked and heartbroken, but this. From what we know about this series so far and Rogue One, Cassian has had to endure the loss of many people, and I imagine several people close to him, and he's going to endure more loss. And by the time of Rogue One, he seems to be very much accustomed to losing people. And of course we know that all the rebels on Scarif perish, himself included. So, you know, it should have been obvious to me that there's probably going to be at least one major character death in each of these 4 chapters. But actually, in the first chapter, there were 2 deaths. Tecoma, we didn't see him die, and I said it in my previous reaction that there's an unwritten rule in Star Wars and also in other stories that if you don't see a character die, then you know, we can't be sure that they're dead. But I think Tay is an exception, because when Cinta appeared, he was toast. He was as good as dead. And I know this next chapter takes place another year later. There's going to be a span of a year between each chapter, so we're not going to be seeing Tay again. And it should have been obvious to me earlier, watching those first 3 episodes, that Luthen had absolutely nothing else in mind but just assassinating Tay. You know, he's become accustomed to not hesitating to sacrifice people when necessary. Doing what has to be done to deal with loose threads. And Mon Mothma is not like that. Maybe in this season we'll see her becoming more accustomed to things like that. But I hope she doesn't lose what makes who she is, like Luthen has. Luthen has pretty much he sacrificed his life a long time ago. He has you know, for the sake of the rebellion, he has become completely dispassionate. It didn't escape my attention that when he was at the wedding feast and Perrin was making his toast, his Sagrona Tima, about joy, Luthen was not paying attention to that. He was focused on Tay and what he needed to do to deal with that situation. You know, he has made his mind a sunless space. He shares his dreams with Ghost. Because he said that because he is a ghost of his former self. Like a ghost, all he can do is long for who he used to be. So, I think Luthen, he might be one of the major character deaths in this season. Could maybe be Luthen. Because, you know, of course, we know we don't, he doesn't appear in any Star Wars stories farther down the timeline, so his absence has to be explained somehow. Excuse me. I'm not sure what might happen to him, but I expect that he will not survive this season. But like I was saying, I think we're going to see other characters like Cassian and Mon Mothma become more accustomed to making these types of sacrifices. I know somebody said that this show is that it's very enjoyable, but it's not going to be fulfilling. There's going to be more and more heartbreak.
get used to disappointment.
But I also expect that there will be some triumphant moments, some moments of joy.
Joy!
It's now 3 BBY, just 3 years to go until the beginning of Rogue One. So I'm sure we will see the different rebel cells coming together and forming a stronger, more cohesive rebel alliance. So I wonder when Saw is going to show up, maybe in these next 3 episodes. What else do I want to bring up? Dedra and Syril, there's a joke going around that they're a match made in hell. Dedra, I didn't like her at all in season 1. To me, she was just an evil Imperial. She was the one who had Bix tortured. And I wouldn't have been upset at all if she had been killed on Ferrix. But now I kind of like her. After she stood up to Syril's mom and laid down the law. And now we know that she was pretty much raised by the Empire. Which really, I mean, she says she was raised in an Imperial Kinderblock. But at this point, the Empire's only 15 years old. Or 16 years old. So, and I'm guessing she's about 30. Somewhere around there. So, yeah, the timeline doesn't really match up unless what she was calling an Imperial Kinderblock actually existed under a different name before the Empire began. I don't know. But, she was pretty much raised by the Empire, so it was the natural progression of her life to end up working for the Empire. So I think she never really gave it any thoughts. But I think some tiny cracks are starting to show. She said she didn't want the Gorman job. I think maybe we'll see her in this season start to question the Empire. And maybe it'll get to the points and what's they're planning on Gorman will probably have something to do with it. Where she'll develop such a distaste for the Empire, she'll start to see the atrocities, and it'll get to the point where she just has to leave. And I wonder if she does, will Syril go with her? Because we know that he loves his job. He's moving up the ranks. So that'll be interesting to see if the maybe she starts to waver in her devotion to the Empire, how that will affect their relationship. But I don't see Dedra becoming a rebel. I don't see her just jumping over to the other side. I think it'll just get to the point where she just can't work for the Empire anymore. Maybe. Or maybe I'm completely wrong about this. But anyway, I don't think that I have anything else to say. I do want to bring up that I really appreciate how socially relevant this show is. How it holds up a mirror to our society. It's relevant to current events, even though it was filmed some time ago. But some things that are happening, they didn't just appear out of the blue very recently. But anyway, I've been yapping long enough. I'm excited to see what the next episode has in store, so here we go. Okay, I see in the thumbnail that Saw is in this episode, and the little description says that Will goes to see Saw, so I wonder if he joins Saw's rebels. Bix is still having these nightmares. What? What's that? Why is she grabbing a blaster? Oh, she's hallucinating. Who is that? It looks like they're on court. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's Coruscant. Maybe it's another planet that has a major metropolis like that. Oh, now we're on Gorman. Okay, what is Syril on Gorman? Why would he be there? Mother's still being passive aggressive. I'm sure she always will be. So has he gotten another promotion and been sent to Gorman, I guess? Part of the plan that the Empire has for Gorman. I guess it's convenient because Dedra is working on this Gorman project. Maybe he requested this promotion. So is he not with Dedra here? Oh, she's been buying the propaganda. Yeah. At least Syril is smart enough to see through propaganda. Who is this that's listening and why? Yeah. Exactly. You're projecting. You're the one who's gullible. Oh, loyalty oath. I'm surprised that wasn't already a thing. Wow, I think maybe Cyril's starting to show some cracks. Who are these people? They're Gormans. The mother is terrifying. They have this conversation or a similar conversation every week. So I guess these are Gorman rebels, and they Syril has gotten their attention. So they're pretending to be a married couple. There are protesters. How much longer will this be allowed before the Empire outlaws protest? Is that one of the rebels? Oh, they're using those to pass messages. So, what? Did he have to kill somebody? Yeah, Luthen wouldn't care about that as long as the objective was accomplished. Yeah. So that's who was in her hallucination. She's mixing up this trauma with her trauma she experienced with Dr. Gorst. Somehow those two being together doesn't make sense, but somehow she's making some sense of it. So I don't know. Yeah, exactly. They don't have control over it. She's getting used to disappointment. Oh, so now we're getting to the heart of this matter. Yeah, have to make it worth it. I don't know. Will they let him through? Or why can't they just go get them for him? Okay, they let him through. Oh, okay. So they are still together. What is going on? So he knows he's being watched. So Syril is Dedra is using Syril as a spy on Gorman. So they are cracking down on the Gormans. Is this Luthen's spy in ISB? She seems a bit stung by that. Good question. Whoever this guy is, he's just completely opposed to even appearing to defy the Empire. So he must be Gorman's senator. She's still poking around about it. Yeah, things are becoming more urgent now. It is true. He was just joking, but he's right. If only he knew how right he was. They're trying to get information out of him. But I think it's above his pay grade. Wow. Oh, he's sending Cassian to Gorman. Trying to recruit some Gorman rebels. If he's sending him to find out about this group, he could run into Syril. Syril will definitely recognize him unless he has a good disguise.
Oh, I've dreamt of this. Did you help it? Yes. Everything's here.
What is this?
Maybe you love the smell of it. Maybe you breathe just a little too deeply. Burn from the inside. You watch your skin blister as it melts away. Or you die loud. Cut a line, drop a wrench, let it spill. You don't even need a spark, do you, boy? Do you? Boom! Wilmon, the boy. You ever done this for real? Or just in a classroom? Done it.
Saw has sacrificed some of his sanity for the rebellion.
And you were going when I tell you.
Well, I need to leave tomorrow.
Really? Is that what you need?
There was an agreement. This was negotiated.
With who?
I'll let our friend know that you're being taken.
Seems like he's meeting Saul for the first time here.
You're here till I get what I need.
Was this something he worked out with Luthen? Saw's not going to let him leave until he gets everything he wants from him. Is this some kind of dance? So I was wondering, are they really a couple now, or were they just pretending to be? Now it seems like they really are. What is she doing? What is that? What? Some kind of drug. Wow, so Bix has apparently turned to substance abuse to deal with her PTSD. I guess I shouldn't be surprised by that. And she and Cassian, it seems like they really are a couple now. Is Cassian at all aware of her drug use? And if not, then what's going to happen when he does find out about it? You know, Bix is right about them no longer being able to decide what happens to who. And I don't know. I mean, I think I'll be surprised if Bix is still alive at the end of this show. She and Cassian, they're apparently in love, or at least they're very close friends. And I think she's gonna be another person that Cassian loses. She's there's no mention of her or sign of her in Rogue One. Wow, and this was a very interesting episode. Setting up this all this stuff on Gorman, and Syril is there. Apparently, Dedra arranged for Syril to take a job there and be her spy. And these people in the Gorman front, that guy was just making a joke, but like I said, if only he knew how right he was about Syril being an Imperial spy. But they've chosen to trust him. They've heard his conversations, and Syril knows he's being listened to. So I wonder if he was just telling them what they wanted to hear, or was he really being honest? Oh, wow. And so he and Dedra, they are still together. They're living apart now, apparently. Um, his mother seems to think that they're not together anymore, and maybe that's on purpose. Maybe Syril. I mean, he's on this assignment to feed Dedra information, and maybe he wants them all to think that he's alone and not associated with Dedra or any other Imperial higher up. Wow, I don't know what else to say about this episode. It was interesting to see Saw. He's got Wilman there, and Wilman thought he was just gonna stay for a day or two. No, Saw's gonna keep him there as long as he needs him. Will has no choice in the matter, and Saw is just, he's a good leader, an effective leader. But, he's as the years have gone by, he's become more and more paranoid and lost more and more of his sanity. But he and his rebels still get the job done. Sometimes with some unfortunate collateral damage. But he's ruthless like Luthen. He does what he needs to accomplish his objectives, and just feels no remorse for those who suffer for it. Wow. I wish I could go ahead and watch the next episode, but I really got to get some sleep. But I mean, I want to see. I mean, I wish this episode had more about the Gormans in it, but I guess just gonna have to wait for the next 2 episodes. But I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you for watching this reaction. I'll get this posted to YouTube as soon as I can. I'd very much appreciate a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. I'm still trying to grow this channel. Hopefully, I'll be able to do more with it in the near future. Thank you for being here. Until next time, may the Force be with you.